Okay, I'd like to welcome Remaya Wind, a dear beloved sister to me in our community in Asheville. Remaya has a blazing passion for relating in all ways. She believes personal growth comes first and foremost in every relationship. When triggers arise, it's actually the best gift ever because we are here to guide each other through our journeys within. There's a precious opportunity in every tense moment to receive the teachings of our emotions. Remaya's work is a convergence of multidimensional health and well-being that takes place at the center of the spiral journey of life inside of you. She merely reflects you. She lets you take the reins of your own healing while we navigate through the terrain of the mind, body, and emotions together. That is so beautiful, Remaya. So I'd like to ask you about what does sacred empowerment mean to you, and how do you embody it?
Thank you, Crystal. It's really beautiful to hear you um, reflect back to me about my work and what I do. It's really special to hear somebody else reflect that back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm really grateful to be here with you, and um, I'm so excited to talk about sacred empowerment. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is just empowerment and what does that mean? And so to me, I just break that word down um, to empower. And when we talk about being in our power, we're talking about um, being in ourself that is omnipresent, that is always present. And that's where we are most powerful. And so for me, I feel like all of my life, there's been all of this conditioning coming at me from the outside world and from our culture. And a lot of that conditioning has asked me to give my power away. And so when we turn to the path of spirituality or the path within, which I think are the same, um, it becomes a journey of um, seeing all of those places that our culture or people around us have asked us to give our power away to them. And the journey is to find all those places and take back that power. So um, for me, um, in my world, that has to do with emotions. So that I feel that in my life, I've often allowed my emotions to be swayed by other people, or I've blamed my emotions on other people, and I don't want to do that anymore because I find it much more empowering, and I find myself feeling much more powerful when I can own my emotions for myself.
Hmm.
Um, and
That's so beautiful.
There is a beautiful quote that I want to find that really says this perfectly. Um, and I have it right here. It's by Sun Bear.
Hmm.
As long as you can find someone else to blame for anything you are doing, you cannot be held accountable or responsible for your own growth or the lack thereof it.
Hmm.
And that's by Sun Bear, who's a powerful Native American elder.
Hmm. That's so beautiful.
So I don't want to blame anybody else for my emotions or any triggers or issues that I'm having because then that's giving my power away. So when we talk about empowerment, it's all about owning what's going on for us or for I'll just talk about myself. When I want to feel empowered, I want to own what's going on for me. And then to bring sacred into the empowerment, you're bringing spirit into it. So for me, that means um, my spiritual journey and the way that I define spirituality is all about the journey within and the relationship to self. And so when I talk about sacred empowerment, it's all about connecting to my center and the spirit within myself. And that has a lot to do with my inner child as well. I know that my inner child, um, my innocence, uh, has a lot of powerful insights for me. And so I try to listen to her
Mm.
also. Um, and that brings the sacred into it because I just want to listen to that voice that is in my center and doesn't have any veils on it.
Mm.
Um, I want to go beyond all the veils that have been impressed upon me by this culture and parents, teachers, um, other deities. There's so much that can get in our way, and I just want to, when I talk about empowerment, I just want to listen to my center and that voice that's inside me.
Mm. So, in your work that you offer other people, how do you help empower them?
I love that question. So, my work revolves around emotions and emotional intelligence. And a lot of people might ask, emotional intelligence, what the heck does that mean? And so I relate that directly to what we're talking about. And I think in our culture, we're really pressured and taught to blame other people for our experience. And that means also blaming other people for our emotions. And so when I work with other people, I really try to empower others to kind of pull back those cords that we have with other people and um, stop blaming others for our emotions. So, for example, um, if I feel angry at my partner, um, I know that there's a place that I can know that that's something in me. So, um, I like to work with couples, especially in partnership, because when we feel triggered or when we feel angry in our partnerships, that um, that's just a sacred mirror for us. And especially in our partnerships where we get so deep and intimate with each other, it's really showing us the deepest parts of ourselves. Um, so when we can actually own what's going on, like I feel angry, oh, I can actually see that I feel angry because um, my father didn't allow me to have dessert all the time. So I got angry at that because I wasn't getting what I wanted. So sometimes that can show up in my partnership because I'm not getting what I want. And um, and that also means I'm not being sensitive to his needs, maybe. And so um, when I can own that anger for myself and trace it back to my childhood, where I was angry at my father, this is just an example, um, then it really helps me see myself, and it really helps me see um, where I'm giving that power away to somebody else, and I can just sit with myself and talk to my inner child. Excuse me. I can talk to my inner child and um, ask her, like, what's going on here? Why are you angry? And it's really just a relationship with myself. Um, so she might say something like, oh, I'm not getting what I want. And I can soothe her and say, oh, that's okay, honey. Um, Sometimes uh, we can't have sugar all the time because that's not good for us. And we can have some other yummy snack like apples. Um, so the way that I like to empower other people is just by taking away blame and totally empowering ourselves to feel what we're feeling, but not give that to somebody else. Because again, As long as you can find somebody else to blame for anything you're doing or feeling, you cannot be held accountable or responsible for your own growth.
I I think that's great, and I really resonate with all of that. And what are you still within that process, working it out in the present with that person? Like, what if someone actually did do something that was sort of off kilter, that
Mm-hmm.
brought up like some injustice, or you know what I mean? Like how, so that you, so there's a healthy dose of taking responsibility for yourself, but also working it out in the present,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, so um,
does that question
I
make
like,
sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're asking. So, um, to me, that goes back to protecting myself. And if somebody's doing injustice to me, it's up to, it is wrong, um, for somebody else to treat us badly, but it's also up to myself to protect myself and lay boundaries. And I know that that's a big growth edge for me in my life right now. It's like stating boundaries, because when I go into my most innocent self, I don't want to have boundaries. I want to connect in love and in the heart with everybody,
Mm.
um, and connect in the oneness that we all are. But not everybody is at that place, and so um, we I find that I have to protect myself. And so if somebody crosses my boundary, I want to state that right away. I don't want to wait to state that like next week, so that has time to like brew in me. um,
Mm.
I want to state that in the present when that's happening. um, so if somebody's speaking injustice to me or speaking negatively to me, it's my job to protect my inner child and protect that innocent part of myself, because we live in this world where we need protection, um, and we need to protect our physical children and our inner child. So I want to just state that boundary, like, hey, that's my boundary, and you just crossed it, and that makes me feel um, such and such a way. I
Mm-hmm.
feel sad and angry that you just crossed my boundary, and I'm going to need to step away for a minute and
Mm.
um, to protect myself.
Oh, beautiful. So it almost sounds like it's cultivating your inner adult, your higher self, to take care of the inner child.
Absolutely, and that's so important in relationship, because our inner children are so present in our relationships, because that's the innocent, playful part of each other that wants to play with each other
Mm.
and have fun and have a great time, um, and they're just out there with all their innocence, and then if they get hurt, then that can be a big setback in the relationship.
Mm-hmm. So,
And that reminds me that it's also so important in relationships to have clear communication, and that includes communicating boundaries, what your boundaries are, and having boundary agreements and general agreements in relationships. And that's what creates that protection for your inner child.
mm, thank you for sharing your wisdom on emotional intelligence. I think that's a real potent medicine that the world needs right now. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Or is there, I feel like if I ask you the question, where would you like to see more sacred empowerment? It's probably already been answered, but is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
Yeah, I think I did answer that, but just to recap on that, I definitely feel like the world needs more emotional intelligence.
Mm.
And that's what I am set out to do. And I feel like that's my purpose in this world and in my circles. And I feel like I really embody that, and I bring that to every relationship that I have. And um, I just want to offer that wherever I am. Especially, I want to also recap on what I was just talking about having boundaries and agreements in relationships, and those are there to protect our inner child. And the more work we do with our inner child, the more she or he will be um, excited to come out and play in the world, and that's also connected to our creativity. So the more we do healing and protection with our inner child and navigate in the world in a way where she feels safe, the more we'll be able to really create from
Mm.
our innocence and from our beautiful purity that is inside of us. And
Mm.
so that's what I want to help people do in this world, is connect to that, and so we can all create something really beautiful together in a world where we feel empowered and
I'm
embodied also.
Yeah, I love this. And, you know, I think it can be scary for people to tap into what they're feeling. I think sometimes the emotions can overwhelm. So a lot of times people will stuff or push it away. So having someone like you who can hold that sacred, safe space for stuff to come up so that they can realize that, oh, if I allow myself to feel this, I'm actually not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle this. And so you'd be a great um, space holder for that and a guide in a lot of ways.
That's right. I love holding people in that tender space. It's something that I have a gift for, and um, I also we can hold emotions um, for so long, and we don't even realize it, and we don't even realize where our triggers are coming from, but they often come from our childhood. And sometimes um, we even carry emotions from our ancestral lines. We
Mm.
carry emotions that are trapped down through generations. And so I work with a modality called the emotion code, that is modality of finding trapped emotions in the body that may be also causing physical ailments, that we're not aware of the emotional layer of what's causing a physical ailment. And it could be an ancestral emotion, or it could be a trapped emotion from our childhood. And so I work with that modality as well to help people find these trapped emotions.
I have to close now.
Okay.
So if someone wanted to find you to connect and find out more information, how can they find you?
Yes, so my website is www.stillinspiral.com, and that's relating to the spiral within, where we're going into our center, and it's a spiral journey. So stillinspiral.com, and you can find my email there, and you can read a little bit more about what I do and my mission.
Mm, it's so beautiful. Thank you, Remaya. I love the offering that you hold and that sacred wisdom. It's good medicine. So thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate you.